Good evening. It being a little after 7 o'clock on November 6th, 2024. Let's open the Kingston Zoning Board of Appeals. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kevin is not present, so we have 5 voting members. We have first on the agenda is 3 Grandview. It is Miss Susan Larson and Mrs. Susan Larson, sorry. Miss. So you want to step up? Does anybody, Lane, do you have this or no? Do you have
I have it from the agenda.
All right, you can just read it then, please.
Public hearing will be held at Town Hall, 26 Evergreen Street, room 200 on Wednesday, September 20th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Applicant Susan Larson, 3 Grandview Ave, map 38, lot 93, must seek a special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals per section 4.2.a, non-conforming structure, use or lot, subsection 4a, in order to remove the roof on a non-conforming structure on a non-conforming lot and build a second floor living space. This has been continued multiple times until today.
All right. Anything new since the last scene? I know I wasn't here last meeting, but I know some of it. I don't know if anything was spoke of, or I think you were coming in front of us for the deck, or are you coming for both? What are you attempting?
Well, I do have a question.
All right, go ahead. Oh, sorry. Click the little button. This is push in front of you first.
Okay, does that work?
Yes.
I'm kind of losing my enthusiasm for the second floor because it's taking a lot of fun out of it now because this has been going on for so long, and I've been doing some work in the basement for the structural, and I replaced the fence, and I'm not going to do the retaining wall. I've explained that in the letter that I'm not going to do any more parking. I moved my fence and have added a couple feet to the parking, but I think the parking is sufficient. But I really would like the deck. So if you vote on the whole project at this point and you say no, does that mean that's no on the deck as well?
So we can piece it out in 2 pieces. So we could, to be perfectly honest, we could say that we have, try to get the wording correct, that we have no prejudice against you going forward in the future on a second story.
Okay.
And that we would move forward in findings and arguments about your deck.
Okay.
That would allow you to go through one step, and then leave open the other step in case something changes. You hit the lottery, you get something out of the blue. Suggestions that were actually hinted to me out of the blue was if you were to get an easement where you could park somewhere. I'm just saying.
That's okay.
If you got an easement that said that you could park at least 2 vehicles anywhere you have this easement in, that would be part. I was like, oh, okay, maybe she could get a letter, but he says no, it has to be binding and recorded. Then that would be fine. Or and then the other suggestion I'd made is if the private road that's in front of your property, if that's your private road, if it's attached to your property, and then you have an easement across your property, I wonder if there's a way that you could find to say that it's your easement, your burden. I'd like to use my property and put my vehicles in the easement. I don't know where that puts you, but I'm saying it could be a possibility. I don't know who owns the private road. And I don't even know how long it is. I don't know if it's like 100 feet, 50 feet, 25 feet. I know it's right in front of your house in that zone, so you technically could own it. I don't know how big the road is that you own. If you do own it, if you're the property that has the easement across it, that could be something maybe a half-decent lawyer could say, here it is. Here's the linchpin. You're off. You're off to the races.
Right.
And as long as you could put 2 pieces of house in the property, you literally are off to the races. That's the only thing that's been hitch bidding this whole thing, at least for me. Other board members, I've heard is a little different here and there. But yeah, you could piece it through the piece, and by us pushing aside the going up, it gives you time to, A, work on one piece if we vote for one piece, and do some due diligence on the other, and circle back.
Okay, I won't have to wait 2 years, like, because if you vote.
Nope, because if
Okay.
we do it, we're not prejudiced or, I'm trying to think of the correct word. Lane, what am I looking for?
Can I just?
Deny it without prejudice?
Thank you.
I didn't interrupt you.
Go
but
ahead.
I want to express some cautionary remarks. I think if the deck is an addition to your non-conforming structure, and we approve that, from that, our date of approval forward, your property must comply in all respects to our new zoning laws adopted in 1994. So I respectfully disagree with you suggesting that we can somehow give her a deck and not prejudice your right to put on a second story in the future. All right, so I think you're
I think we're not prejudicing her right to come back, to ask for
2
it,
years.
to
She's
come
got
back.
to wait
Yeah.
2 years.
That's if we
Just
deny it, if we deny it.
Again, yeah,
But I won't lie, you are definitely 1,000% what you said there.
I am right on that.
Yes.
And I'm also believe I'm right on the following point.
But again, her having that, I think with one car, I think I don't know how big her car is, and I know the property's at a weird angle. It's almost like she could fit a 3/4 car on that piece in that front corner left.
Again,
But my
that's-
point is, as long as she designates it on a piece of paper and it works, she can get one. She's never going to get two without a wall.
I
You
guess
know,
that's my other point.
let
I
me
don't-
just, okay. Could
My
I,
other point of, it's really a legal disagreement with the chair.
Yep.
This is a pre-existing non-conforming property, and you are asking her to comply with the 1994 parking requirement.
Because she's changing her nonconformity into
No,
a
she's-
better. She's adding. Are you adding any square footage to your deck?
It's
No.
still a non-conformity. It's still defined as she has the right
So
to do that.
if she was not adding,
Where, show me in our regulations where the parking regulations apply, that somehow she's non-conforming except for parking. Show me that.
so every house,
Just show that to me.
I don't have it on me, but I can get it and I'll get it to you. For every bedroom you have in your house, you have to have one parking
Under the
spot.
1994 zoning regulations.
Which, are you changing anything in your house?
no,
You're asking for a second story.
And you're asking for a new deck, correct? That goes into a different spot?
What do you mean you're not changing anything if you're asking for a second story?
right now, I'm,
She's asking the deck. She's doing a little of both.
you're getting me
letter
very
I have is
confused.
from
I
from
originally,
October.
yes, I'm asking for a second story. But I'm telling you right now, there is plenty of parking. What's really got me a little bit upset is that I've been coming in front of you for like a year and a half, and you have never been even driven by my property,
I parked right in front of your property not even 2 weeks ago.
I both
and
bike
you've
ride in
not
front of your
seen
property.
my parking.
Yeah, but I know you say you have parking, but like you figure it out, and I think your builder figured out. You have parking in the road layout. It's not on your actual physical written property, your deed.
My deed shows a street that is 30 feet wide that never should, it was written 30 feet wide because, as Paul Basler said when he visited the property to determine that we have plenty of room for the plow and for parking off the side.
Yeah, but he's not in the zoning board.
Well, I know, but he wrote you a letter.
Yeah, but he's
Saying
that's like me telling you that you have sewer capacity. I can't tell you that because I'm not on that board. Even if I knew or didn't know, I can't tell you that. I'm not the board.
I guess I would like us to find some sort of legal opinion on how you're interpreting this, a non-conforming use.
We had this argument prior when Jason, our enforcer,
And
was
I know,
here.
and he agreed with me.
No, he agreed with you on the deck, but he said there's no way.
He
you're gonna
agreed
get-
with me on the parking.
Yeah, you need one for every bedroom.
No, he didn't.
So what'd he say?
He said that it was a pre-existing non-conforming use and that you were misapplying this. It just says, all we have to find is that the change, extension, or alteration, you are changing it and you're extending it, you're going up,
Yep.
right?
Is what?
Shall not substantially
Burden?
shall not be substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming use or structure to the neighborhood. It says nothing about parking. Where? It says she can ask for this as a non-conforming use. And it says the parking regulations don't apply because
It does.
of-
When you have,
I'm
when you're
asking.
changing something, it does affect the
Then
parking.
I
No,
would
you-
like to withdraw
I
my
would just like a legal opinion on
request
this.
for the second story.
I'm trying to help you.
I would like to
Before you do
simply,
that, my opinion is, the house had 2 bedrooms before. She's making one an office, and she's putting a second floor on, and she's gonna continue with 2 bedrooms in the house. She has taken, I've been there, looked at it, they've taken the fence that's there, added a couple of feet to it, paved it, graded it off, and the cars are off the street parking. And the DPW has come by and said that they took Grandview Ave off the naughty list, that there's enough room to plow and for the snow removal. My opinion, she's done everything other than having to build a retaining wall to give herself enough parking for 2 bedrooms in her house, my opinion.
I don't mind his opinion. I just want it on paper so that it's legal. I have to have it on something legal. That has to be binding to your deed. And that's the only thing I have.
honestly don't think I even want the second
again, I
story.
respectfully
Believe me,
disagree
I know
with you
you're
on that point,
trying
too.
to help me, but I don't want the second story anymore. I'm sick of this. But I want the deck. If I can't, I've got 800 square feet in the house. I can't even have
So-
people over for dinner
I-
because I've got a little table that 4 people can sit at. Maybe we can sit out on my deck. So my deck is already there.
It doesn't-
It practically touches the road.
So,
All
so
I
why do
wanna
you have
do
to
is
go in
move it
front of
back.
the Conservation Commission?
Pardon me?
Why do you have to go in front of Conservation Commission if your deck's already there?
I went in front of the Conservation Commission for the second story, but they had the plans for the deck because it's been in the plans all along. And they agreed that they gave me the permit for
I don't know
everything.
why conservation would get involved with the second floor, it should be the deck, I think.
Yeah, that's
The deck is in the plans.
And you cantilevered the deck.
The
for conservation.
cantilevered the deck.
And conservation made you do a lot of other work,
Well,
correct?
the conservation agreed to everything, the second story with the deck.
With your cantilevered deck, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think that conservation had anything to do with the deck, to tell you the truth, because it's the same square footage. Conservation had an issue because when you put X amount of feet, I think it's 40 feet from the high tide marker, you can't have everything in that title
Right, yeah, it
zone.
shows you in the title
So there was a
zone.
column per the original plan on the deck in that area.
No,
So they
no,
should-
we,
Just,
okay.
I'm on your side.
No one's totally
So,
against you here. We're trying to help
They
you.
they changed the design of the deck to have the
Without the
cantilever over the side of it,
helicopters.
so the column is not in the 40-foot marker. So as far as I could see,
She was approving it.
Conservation has approved the deck as it stands now in the design.
Yes.
So the deck by right should have been by
The-
right.
The building department looked at that, the way it
Why?
was framed, that it was structurally sound from the information I got. So the deck to me is a non-issue at all. It seems to be the second floor, and I don't think it affects the parking because there's already 2 bedrooms.
Right.
So there's total separation between the deck and the second floor. And I don't understand why conservation would get involved with the second floor at all.
You're expanding the deck, correct?
Moving it
No,
from-
there's already
moving
an
from the side to
existing
the
deck,
back.
but it's old and rickety, and it's much closer to the property line. I'm actually moving it back a little farther away from the property line.
But you're altering.
It's still within the
Out towards the
15-foot.
river.
I just need a variance.
No, don't say that.
Away
Don't
from
say
it.
that. Don't say that. Don't say that.
I am utterly confused on what is going on here, because I don't have,
And I just want to
The
point out
plans.
that if you are altering in any way your existing non-conforming structure, that the way the members of this board are interpreting our current zoning regulations is that alteration in and of itself requires that you meet the parking requirements. So I just want you to know, I don't know why they didn't tell you that. That's
said
what
that?
you're saying. You're saying if she alters this in any way, and that's what she's gonna do.
No, you have it backwards, completely backwards. If your deck was conforming and the way it was,
It's not.
and you wanted to replace it and fix it, you by right, the building inspector would have gave it to you. But by you changing its position, its size, or anything, you need a special permit because you're a non-conforming stricture.
Correct.
And unless you make it conforming, which will
Yeah.
instantly make it by right, you're still going to be non-conforming, which then brings you in
what
front
are
of
the
us.
plans, like, where is the
Here,
change?
you've had these plans since the day one.
They were submitted,
Here are the plans.
last.
Here's
A year
the,
ago.
yes,
I
a
remember
year and
it.
a half ago. They're all here.
Yeah.
They were submitted.
And then I was asked to give you a more detailed building plan of the deck, but the deck is here on the original plan,
Yep.
which conservation got. But Mr. Mullen asked me for a more detailed, so my architect gave a more detailed. So you've had these. I went to Mr. Silva and asked about building. He said, no, still because you're within, there's those trees that by the town landing there, that little beach, there's some trees there that nobody pays any attention to. They
Are they in your-
belong to the town of Kingston.
Okay.
I'm going to be within a little foot or so of those trees are within the setback. So that's what I'm asking for the variance, because I'm going to be within a little bit of
Special
that
permit.
setback.
Special
But I'm
permit.
a little farther away than where the deck is currently, which is it shows in this plan where it currently is. So you've had all this in your packet from.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with the deck. I actually don't have a
She's
problem with the second
changing-
story. But by changing
She's
anything,
changing it. She just said she's moving it.
and that's fine with me. I don't care. Just
But-
have a parking spot for each
But then
bedroom.
she still, I just want her to understand that even if all you apply for is the deck, members of this board are going to insist and probably deny your proceeding unless you're being granted the permit for a deck.
No, never said that.
unless
Never,
you-
it never even inferred that. I was actually trying to help you to say that if you have a, I didn't know your house was a 2-bedroom. I thought it was a 1-bedroom. So I assumed it was a 1-bedroom, and I assumed that if you could squeeze most of your car onto your actual deeded property and put it on a piece of paper that I can then record down with the building inspector, that the deck and the house that has 1 bedroom necessarily conforms into something. And then if you wanted to go for the 2nd bedroom and go up a level, and you could figure out a legalese way of saying, I can fit 2 cars either on my property or on
fit
my,
4 cars, to tell you the truth, but.
long as it can be
And
on.
it's on my private lane. It is our private lane.
I just need that in some sort of written form that can be stamped and deeded and pushed to your property forever. For when your kids take over and they sell it, or whatever, someone doesn't have to come in and go, well, where do I park? And they go, they keep towing my cars every week. Well, you parked right in the road. And you go, no, it's connected to my deed right here. I can have this much parking.
Okay, well, this is one other problem about that, because I did speak to I forget.
And even town council said, if you had something where you could.
I went to the town planner's office here. Valerie, I
Yeah.
think. If I don't know how it's drawn. I mean, this is drawn from a 1948 survey that when they developed Rocky Nook. If I want to change this road then that means every neighbor on Grandview Avenue. Now, it's a private lane. We all know it's a private lane, but to deed it all, and we get a lawyer to do it all, it changes everybody's deed. We all have to redraw the deed to go to the middle of the road. It costs money for the lawyers. It costs money for surveyors. It wasn't worth it.
Wait,
Again, may I just interject? Again, I do not think we have the authority to require you to.
I never said to
produce
require her.
a
Where are you getting
suit.
these requirements?
We
That-
just said that if she could produce this, you wouldn't have any problem with it. That sounds like a requirement. Again, I don't think we have any.
I mean, in theory, you
Right.
could go up 35 feet if you really wanted to. Your house can go 35 feet, 3 bedrooms, as long as you have a sewer connection. 35 feet, no one can stop you. You come in front of us, go, I'm at 35 feet, not even to the peak, to the ridge line. You could do as many square feet as up, never change the footing below. Long as you had parking for every bedroom, which is up to 3, you could go as the sky's the limit. We can say, hey, you fit everything in nonconformity, and if the neighbors don't care and they're not mad about it, you would probably get it. Right? It happened on the other lanes around there. That's how they all went up, because they fit the little pieces of criteria, whatever. Did you have to get a sewer system connection to your house? Even though you probably had a septic before?
She has a
No,
letter from the
I'm
sewer
already
department.
sewer.
I know, but
I'm
did
already
she have to
approved.
upgrade her house like everybody in the Nook did? Yes. Same applies here. You want to improve the property, and you want to make it better. You want to make everything, and I get it. But if you could figure out a way to just put either one parking spot on your property, even if you say somehow you figure out a legalese that says I can do it on this private road, it's my private road, going across my property. If someone could say that and it can get recorded to it, I'm fine. They seem to be fine with it other ways. I just know it was going to be a hiccup problem for you in the future.
Okay.
Or 2, or 3, whatever you want to.
I don't want my second story anymore. I really don't. I don't. I'm done.
I
Now,
was trying to
I
help
just
with the
have
deck.
one
Marcia
little
seems to
question.
think that it doesn't
I just
non-conform.
have one, so
So you're interpreting the regulation, Paul. It's not
So
me.
I just want a variance
No.
for my
So you're telling
deck.
us you want a variance, you're not going to get a variance.
Why?
Because you're not asking for a variance here. You
Currently
don't
asking
need a
for
variance.
special
So can I withdraw this whole thing, go tomorrow and apply for a variance for my deck?
You're not going to get a variance for your deck.
You could try,
Why?
because you have to, you could have to, argue topography?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you're asking for a variance.
Why? It's all here. It's been in my plans for a year and a half. It's
I'm
all
not against
part
I'm
of
not against
this.
the deck. I'll be perfectly honest.
Not either.
Doug or
Well, if she applies for the building permit for the deck and they approve it, and why, I don't see why not.
Because I went to.
I know, I'm agreeing
But
with
why do you need a variance for the deck?
Because it's still I have a 15-foot, whatever the setback is, it's
I
still
see.
within that
Yeah, but
setback.
you're already non-conforming.
Yeah.
That's what I think Marcia's mixing you up. You're already a non-conforming unit, so
But she would have automatically been entitled to if she had met certain dimensional setbacks. even
Which she
though
can't.
was
She
not-
can't physically
But she
make
couldn't,
that.
so she has to come here.
except and
It's an
you ask for a
existing
special
So I'm here.
So that's a special permit.
permit. Yes.
Special permit
I
for
don't
an
know why you're
existing
asking for a
non-conforming
variance.
deck. That's all it is.
That's
Oh,
all
I don't know if maybe that's the wrong word.
That's a
Well, it's a
burden.
huge difference
Okay, I'm
in
sorry.
terminology.
I don't.
You're I'm sorry, but I have a letter here from October 2nd that says that you're deciding to withdraw, and then another letter that says that you're going forward.
Because I
You have to
came-
tell us what you're
Okay,
doing.
because I came to a meeting, only 2 people showed up, and they encouraged me, don't withdraw, you put so much time and energy
2 people
into
from the
this.
board?
Keep going, yes.
Well, that's-
So I said, okay, got postponed because only 2 board members were here, so I got postponed. I thought it over, I said, no, it's true, I put so much time and energy into this, money, not to mention money. So I came back and I said, no, okay, I'll go for it. But I honestly, I'm just,
It's a tough piece
I
of
feel like
property.
crying. I just,
It's not an easy piece of property you have there, without a doubt. Its position is in the worst position. It's wicked
it's a
low,
darling little house. I just need an office. I would love an office. I don't need an office anymore. I don't, it's
My,
too
my,
much stress.
my suggestion is go to the building department tomorrow and try to get a permit for the deck with your drawings with the deck, and they're gonna tell you what you're gonna need for it. If it's gonna be a special permit for an existing non-conforming situation, they'll tell you what you have to apply for, they'll give you the written instructions on what to do, then you come back
I don't
for
think
that.
she needs to do that.
No, but I mean, they're gonna tell her what, if she goes back and specifically says to Jason, whoever's down there now, Paul, I wanna build this deck, forget the second floor, this is what I wanna do, he'll give her the instructions on what to do with it, right?
I think we can do that. She requested almost like basically a 2-paragraph
Okay.
special permit.
Well, again,
And-
if it's just the wording we're trying to get right, if
I would
that's
think
fine.
that would have to be publicly noticed.
It is. She's
It is.
asking
I think it
for.
already is.
She's asking for a 2-story, and she's asking for a deck. Correct. So
She's
Yes.
asking for the deck only now, she said.
Well, I will take the 2-story if you will give it to me, but I feel like if you
If you
vote
have
on
the
it
parking,
tonight,
then
you're
why
going to
wouldn't
say
you?
no.
If you're,
Exactly.
if
She
you're
does
saying
have
that you have the
parking.
parking, why won't you go get that in writing for us?
Who am I supposed to go to?
I don't know, but I can't just take your word that you have parking. I don't know.
Dad, could you come to my house tomorrow?
I'm not coming with a measuring tape to measure out.
I've looked at it.
I took
It's-
pictures
parking is.
with a measuring tape, and
Plus,
I
I don't know
sent
what
you
your,
the picture.
I don't know what your line is. Like, I don't know where.
I
you have to
have
a
more
plot
parking
plan.
than Mr. Mullen does, and I can and you know that. I have as much parking as Mr. Mullen does.
All
Did
right.
you review this?
And
with
I
the-
have
My brother she's talking about.
no, I'm talking about you.
Ms. Lawson, did
Mine's-
you review
We
this
built
with the
the wall,
town?
but anyway.
I have the same amount of parking as your brother, but I have the same amount of parking
has
you
no
have as well.
At all.
Did you review?
I agree with you, and I have no problem with it. I think what you've done to give yourself the extra room to park off the road and get the permission of the DPW,
But it's
as far as I'm
it's
concerned,
just
it's
off
that.
it's just off of the paved tar. It's not off of the actual legal road,
Did you consult with?
Some of it is, some of it's still on her property.
and that's what I like.
I know,
Yes.
but that's the way it is. I mean, it's just-
No, but I'm just saying that's what that's the. I need to. Maybe
Did you
she-
consult with the town planner on this issue? It sounded, you
Yes,
did
I
mention
did.
that you met with her, and that's when you discovered that it was a road that had been laid out, that had just never been implemented as part of.
Unfortunately, we don't have the drawings in front of us with showing the
Yes.
property line.
But
Yes, you
did
do.
speak to Ms.
You
Mas-
do.
I don't have it in front of me right now.
Oh, give me.
Well,
Would you
I do
be
have
willing
the
to s-
original survey from 1940.
Would you be willing?
No, it's my surveyor had to use that
yeah.
survey.
I get
because-
that. I get that.
Would you be willing to get a letter from the town planner and your surveyor?
That would cost her a bunch of
did
money in
My
town.
surveyor has
Satisfied,
to use it. I would have to get a letter from the surveyor from 1948.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
No, no,
But
no.
maybe the town planner, is it of record, this survey is
Can I see?
somewhere?
Can I see your layout?
Yeah, take me
Can I
to-
see your plot plan?
Your architect should have put that together for you.
Let me just see your plot plan real quick.
Well, I may not have everything in here. Here. I got
Let me see if I can see your plot plan.
this. I may not have everything.
You see this is what I want to look at this one.
Some of this is,
There's a more proper plot plan.
here's your property.
There we go. Getting the real stuff here.
Here's property. So, this is what?
So, all I'm asking, to make it easy, is see how your property line is, that red line right there in the front, at the edge of wherever that is? In the
This
line?
is the 1948.
But when you bought your house, your house is deeded by bounds, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you look at your
Yes.
deed, right. So I just deed, you could even do it with pen, parking spot that says, my vehicle goes there. I don't care about the topography. I'm just saying, if you could fit a car in there, to me, the deck is fine because you could have parking for at least one.
She's got that,
Okay,
yeah.
but look, this is where this is what the road is surveyed at.
Right.
This is where the real road is, way out here.
But that's
Then
not-
there's a steep cliff that goes down.
So that is not so the real road is that line.
No, it isn't. That's
Just 'cause they-
floating. That is floating over,
They still own,
Space.
whoever owns the private road still owns that. That's the problem.
right, that's floating over.
Now, here's my thing. Do you technically own into the road a little bit? Whose easement is that?
Well, it's a private road.
Right, but private road means it's owned by you and the 3 neighbors, and
Yeah.
you guys so that means you made a homeowner's.
I don't know how
Yeah, I don't know
it
how to word
works.
that either.
See, and that's where so me, to feel good about everything being done, if you said, hey, here's a 9x6 area where my car can fit on my property. I don't know the terrain. Someday you could, like I said,
Well,
hit the
so
lottery.
I do have to
and-
hire a lawyer.
You don't have to hire a lawyer to put a parking spot.
Here's the road right here, and she's carved this out for her parking. This
No,
is-
I didn't. This
that's
is,
the- so the-
this is
her-
where I would have put
I know,
a-
but you're right now, your wall is right here.
Right.
And you've kicked everything back, so you have, this whole area is her parking.
No, it isn't. This was perspective parking that my architect drew.
Okay, I'm
But
trying to help you
I
there.
didn't do it. I appreciate that, Mr. Mullen.
No, I wanna-
So, but this is.
I'm
the-
done continuing this a million times. It's starting to get over
I
this.
know, I know, but this is what we thought we would do, but this is a $50,000 retaining wall. These are the stairs that go down to my property. Beautiful granite stairs that we would have to remove and build this retaining wall. And I'm not gonna do it. That's why I said I give up. I'm not gonna do this second story. This is the existing deck that I wanna move over here, which is a concrete basement. I have concrete basement
Already
out
there, yeah.
So I'm gonna just move the deck and put it on top of the concrete outside my basement.
Show that to Marcia.
I've seen it all.
Okay.
I think we should approve the whole project. I don't think you need, I think you've demonstrated that you have the off-street parking that would satisfy
This-
the
yeah.
plowing. You
Yeah,
satisfy the school bus, the fire department, right?
Big yellow school buses go down there while my car's parked there.
The fire department can turn around, correct? I think they issued a letter in the beginning.
Yep, fire department said it's okay,
And when you went
everything.
out there with Mr. Bassler, you went over this with him,
Yeah,
correct?
Yep,
And he's the one who helped you put your cars there and lay out where you could park?
I mean,
well, they didn't lay it
if you
out.
really want to use all those letters of endearment, this is still technically a private road. And by private road, the town doesn't have to do anything on it. And actually, no one has to even touch the private road because it's a private road.
Right, they
So
can't.
we don't want to go that way because you're going to open up another stupid can of worms that we don't need to open.
Yeah, we had that meeting, town
Oh.
meeting here for that last week.
I'm just trying to figure out a way to make it so that you have physical parking on your property, which it looks like you tried to design for. I don't know
Well,
how
that
we
was
make.
gonna cost $50,000 and eat up half of my yard and move my concrete steps. That's when I said, I just would rather not have a second story. Forget it, I'm not doing it. And then I made a little more room with the new fence and said, that's it. I don't want the second story, but I would really like my deck. So I would like the deck. I'm willing to give up the second story.
Marcia,
But-
do you want it rewritten so that she comes back with a proper, just the deck only permit, special permit?
I'm just concerned that
It can be done, I can vote that way.
based upon her representations, I mean, we have to be consistent. I mean, we have to exercise the discretion that we're given, you know, in a manner that's fair and consistent and applies, you know, to all similarly situated parties. So if you have taken the position with regard to her request to, as Jason described it, to raise the roof, she wants to just raise the roof, put on another story, that's why he directed you to come here. And initially, you also wanted to do some work on your deck.
So vote for me tonight.
You would like to just do work on your deck.
I want the whole thing.
I know you do, but I'm just trying to address Paul's issue here, and I just feel like if you're saying no to the second story because she doesn't have the off-street parking that you feel she needs to have.
I don't call it off-street parking, I say it parking. You don't have to call it off-street, just call it parking.
Well, she does have that now.
Not on her property, so
Not
like,
on a
but
public.
It is my property. It's my private road.
then that's also.
You have the whole road?
She owns it in common with the
With-
other homeowners that.
So that's the issue.
So I'm hoping you could, so I'm trying to figure out, if you could figure out a way to have it legally written. I got two people, lawyers up here, that says you can park in the road and that by you making your property more
Your neighbors
detrimental-
need to agree to that. You're parking on their property as well. So it's not just your road.
And vice
So we
versa.
can't agree to have you just park on that, like, that's not something that we can do. You're not
So
gonna
if I
be the
got
owner
all
of this
my
property
neighbors to
forever.
say, we're fine with Sue parking there.
I don't know. You
Is
need
that
to
good
have,
enough, or do I need a lawyer?
I have a good lawyer that you could
I'd
probably
rather
use
you
that-
have a lawyer,
that
but-
comes in. If you had a lawyer from the beginning with, we'd probably be done with this in
Yeah.
a legal
would have been
way.
done probably a year ago, but I'm not approving it if you don't have a parking spot on your actual property and not parking partly or fully on a private road that you own with other people.
Would that mean you wouldn't approve it for the deck either?
Right, so if I just
No,
come
because
back
the code is pretty
for
clear.
the
I agree with
deck,
you. You can't approve it for anything then.
Yeah.
If you're gonna enforce rigidly, if you're gonna enforce this parking requirement, which, by the way, I don't think we should be doing, but.
Then have the town vote on an amendment to the
Again, I'd
zoning
like to
code.
talk, I'm
I
gonna
mean-
try to get, if, as Paul says, I can have a chat with the legal counsel on some of these.
Oh, without a doubt.
You absolutely
Issues.
can.
Yeah.
And if he comes back and gives us some advice on this,
I've been
willing
trying to give the advice that I've been trying to work out on this.
I'm gonna call him tomorrow, because I do think that we need to apply, we need to exercise our discretion uniformly, and
So-
people, and we need to all agree on what the zoning regulations say in order to do that.
We're not gonna deny you.
so I'm still very confused. If I say I don't want my second story anymore, you're not gonna vote on my deck.
She doesn't want to. She feels it's all part and parcel.
Well, so does Lane.
Which, I mean, it is part and parcel, but to me.
Are you saying I have to have parking in order to get the deck?
I don't agree with them, but they're saying that you have to have 4 out of 5 of us. And there are people that won't give it to you, okay? And quite frankly, I don't think we can. I don't think that would be an
She's
abuse
correct.
of our
No,
discretion.
she's correct. If
It
a
would
neighbor
be
appealed it,
wrong.
you would lose.
Yeah.
And we need to not do things like that. We
That's
need-
fine. I'm just
I
saying
know
that.
one neighbor gave her a letter of approval, so.
But that's why I picked the lesser of the two evils, the deck, which is less
But
likely
I'm
to be
still,
appealed.
I'm not inclined to approve it without the parking.
I was talking about the deck, not the
So-
two-story.
I would be inclined to get an opinion from legal counsel on this issue. I think this is a big issue for this town, apparently, on all these unaccepted private roadways especially. What are we gonna do with
We've always had
them?
people have parking. It's never been an issue till this.
Yeah,
one
your
thing.
place is unique. I've never seen this one for parking. It's very
And it
unique.
was- So-
Parked off the road, no problem, done. This has been a nightmare because of the parking.
So I'm asking Mr. Goldberg, you
Yes.
would not approve my deck without parking. If I give up the second story, you will not let me have a deck unless I have parking?
It's not me, it's the code, it's the Kingston bylaw. It's
The
not me.
bylaw requires you have parking on your
Yes, because
property
you're
for
changing a
deck?
non-conforming, yes, you're changing a non-conforming structure. If you make an
And I
alteration
would
to
like,
it,
I'm gonna seek a
when you
legal
talk to
opinion on that.
the lawyer, counsel, I would like that clarified because that
I would
seems
too. And
bizarre.
if he says that it's a narrow reading of it, then, I mean, I'm happy to look at it again.
So maybe we should just continue.
I'm leaving for St. Croix. I can continue one more time, but that's it.
I mean, then.
But
then-
I'm going to need some sort
Okay.
of written statement from this board that I can take to a lawyer to find out about.
All right.
This is your petition,
It is.
so you do what you want to do. I mean, if you don't want to continue,
blame-
then.
yeah. Only-
Let's.
Yeah, yeah. The only reason to get,
respectful
all
to
right.
the people
Yeah, yeah. The only reason
who are-
everyone's getting aggravated is, so when you come in front of us, even these little, all these people, when you come in front of us, our job is not to do anything other than to hear what you provide for us and then vote on it. Exactly. But then vote on it. We don't do any legwork, footwork,
Which you have
anything.
been doing the entire meeting.
Yeah, I have been. I've been trying to get it done for you.
That's why I'm frustrated.
In theory, I could be. If a neighbor hated your guts, which I don't say they do, they could come after me and say, "Why are you helping her?"
My neighbors love me. So
I get
there you
that.
go.
I know that. But I'm just saying, if you did have a neighbor and not, you know what I mean, and they did
No,
not like you, they would be down my throat right now trying to help you get something done.
I
Because
know
I'm
you
not
have to
taking
do
an
your
impartial
job,
spot.
But it's confusing me.
I know it is. You have a very, very, very tough property. Very tough. Half of it's in the marsh. The other half is against.
Conservation was great. I mean, I had a lot to do with them, and and they were great.
They were just
It's
happy that you had to
guys.
come in
It's
front of
the
them and they
Thank
got
you.
to pull
parking.
out of the deck.
The parking's been fine. I have plenty of room for parking, so this
It's
is,
always fine when
I'm going to get a
every,
lawyer. More money. You know, this deck is going to cost me a freaking fortune, but
if you get a good lawyer, you do it
yeah,
all.
more money, thanks. But I will.
It helps you in the long run.
Well, I don't know about that.
Where are you going? You rest up in the
Yeah.
Caribbean.
Yeah.
To continue?
Get ready to fight another day.
Yes. I even might have
I
one to
move that we
recommend you.
continue 3 Grandview
Well, I'm going to
Avenue.
be here, maybe, I can come back in 2 weeks, but that's it.
Do you want 2 weeks or the beginning of December?
No, I won't be here in the beginning of December.
All right, let's
so-
do 2 weeks. And,
I'll call him. Give me his number.
oh yes, I'll have to give him, I'll tell him, you can call him direct, you're a board member. What was I going to say? All right, continue, I'm trying to think of the date, that's what I'm doing, my brain's scattered.
November 20th.
November 20th, 7 o'clock. Is that all that's there, the first one?
No, we got Cushman Drive.
No, we haven't continued
Is
that.
that the day before Thanksgiving?
Okay.
No.
Thanksgiving's the 28th.
8.
So the 20th, all right, so November 20th, next meeting.
Very good.
Someone make a motion?
I make a motion that we continue 3 Grandview Avenue until November 20th.
Can I get a second?
I second it.
All right, second. All in favor? Aye. Don't leave. I want to give you a little bit of help, a tiny bit of help. Maybe he can bring you up to speed on some stuff. What's next on the agenda?
4 Park.
4 parks. If you have to leave, I can take a quick recess.
Take-
All right, let's
Can
take
you-
one.
2 minutes?
1 minute. Yeah, you got a
1
letter?
minute, because, well, I just,
Yeah, 1 minute, all right.
you've
Give it
given a
1
lot
minute.
of help.
2 seconds, yeah, come on. We'll take just 1 minute, 30 seconds. Sorry, 2 minutes. Minute is up. Let's bring the meeting back on. I have to really stop it, so. Is this opened?
I don't think so.
No. Lane, can you please read it? Sorry. Do you have it?
Notice of public hearing, a public hearing will be held at Town Hall, 26 Evergreen Street, on Wednesday, October 2nd at 7:10. Applicant Olavo Damasito, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name,
Ollie
DiMacedo.
DiMacedo.
4 Park Street, map 37, lot 8, seeks a variance per section 10.4.b powers, subsection 3 from the Zoning Board of Appeals in order to modify lot lines to 2 contiguous parcels and waive the requirement of 8.2.b, which requires specific lot requirement restrictions due to the wetlands in order to make 2 individual non-conforming residential single-family parcels. I'll make a motion to open the hearing.
Okay, a second.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we're gonna listen to this, and you know how variances work, correct?
I know how variances work.
All right,
correct.
take it away. I like it.
All right. Good evening. My name is Nicholas Lang from Grady Consulting here on behalf of Ollie DiMacedo. As you just read, we are seeking a variance approval for the redivision of these 2 parcels. Before I go any further, do you folks have a copy of the plan in front of you, or should I bring this closer to you?
We have the small version.
You have a small version? Okay. If you need, I can bring this over towards you to point out more specifics. So currently, the way these lots are configured is his, what was his mother's house, his number 4, is out in the front and center. With number 4 is the vast majority of all of the land that you see here. Number 8, which is actually off to the side here, in practicality, uses up the vast majority of the eastern side of the lot. This is all owned by the same family, these 2 parcels, as well as the surrounding land of what we're subdividing here today, or asking to subdivide here today. Or I shouldn't say subdivide, redivide. As you can see, there is a garage that goes right over the lot line where it currently sits today. And there's a path out into the wetlands to where there was that a former animal pen? Is that what that is? There's an animal pen.
Before you keep going, is there 3 different properties inside that one property piece? Is that what I'm seeing?
2. We are asking to divide it into, still 2, but you see 3 pieces because we are taking part of one and transferring it to another, is what you're looking at. Do you want me to come over there and point it to you? Let me come up there for you. Before you get it. Before you get any further.
So I see this piece, and I see this piece.
Okay.
And then I see this piece.
Okay. This piece goes with house number 8. The rest of this currently goes with house number 4.
What's this then?
That is what we're proposing.
Oh.
And the rest of this gets switched over to ownership.
It's not color coded, okay, it's not color coded or line
It
coded.
is not color coded. It is not.
Oh, line coded, okay.
Because it needs to be recorded at the registry. They don't do colors at the registry.
All
It
right,
has to be black and white.
I'm just trying to help, because you gotta sell the people on that thing too.
Yes. Yes. So, essentially, for a long time, this has been all family and has been operated as such, which is why you have a garage sitting on the current lot line. They're looking to sell off house number 4, and we're asking for a variance to tighten the lot lines right around number 4 Those lot lines we are looking to get the variance granted for are placed that way to allow them to continue the current use of this pathway into the wetlands for the animal pen. And they want those rights to remain with house number 8. This will also relieve the issue of the fact that we have a structure that goes on both sides of the lot lines and plenty of occupation that is currently over the existing lot line. So we're reconfiguring everything so they can maintain the current existing use and not inhibit the potential new inhabitants of number 4. The only inhibition to number 4 would be the fact that they can't really make any changes going forwards because they would not have any space to do so given where we've placed the lot lines.
So that new one you want to make for number 4, what's the square footage of that property? The new property you want, because you're in an R40, so I'm curious what number you're trying to aim for there.
40,000?
It's a total of 40,014 square feet.
Ooh.
So it meets all of the size and setback regulations. The only thing it does not meet is the proportion of it that is upland versus wetland. And that is the ask today, is that due to the significant amount of wetland that covers this property, in order for them to maintain use of that path out to the animal pen, we would not be able to cut the lot lines and keep it all on their property. It would then require an easement otherwise.
Say that again?
If we were to make the new proposed lot conform to the wetland versus upland,
You're talking about number
Proportion?
4s or number 8s?
number 4, what will be number 4? Do you want me to come point to it for you again? I see you looking at your hand there.
Yeah, I'm just, I'm divisioning it as wise. So you have a 40,000 square foot, it makes the R4, it makes the setbacks, but you're having the problem because you have too much marsh to upland ratio?
Correct.
All right.
That is it. That is the entire variance ask.
And
That's
what's,
on for parcel A?
it's for parcel number 4 or whatever.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Well, that's for
Yes.
dwelling 4, right?
Yes,
Yes,
parcel A.
It's parcel A,
Yes.
that's the
Yeah.
parcel you want to create.
Parcel A is what we would be creating.
And then all of the rest is going to go with dwelling 8,
Correct.
Correct.
okay?
And what about his parking on the road?
Yeah. Where's your parking?
He's got a ton of parking, all right there. No neighbors either. No neighbors, he owns everything around us.
So,
Okay, and you want to create 2 lots? One for
We are reconfiguring the 2 lots. It is still going to remain 2 lots. We are not creating any new lots, and we're not creating any kind of buildable lot, nothing like that. We are just asking to move the property lines in such a way that the functionality all remains with the current owner, Mr. DiMacedo, and on his property, because they are looking to sell number 4,
is there any detriment?
which was
Yes.
his mother's house.
Is there any detriment to house 8 at all? I mean, it meets every criteria, every setback, every piece, every stitch?
No detriment. No detriment.
Yeah. So
Number 8 will be
basically,
gaining all of the land you see,
if
yes.
it wasn't for that other house, that one's by right. It's easy peasy.
And
Correct.
what's going to happen to the sport court and gazebo?
That is all going to go with number 8.
That all goes with 8.
What's that? That's the property line. That's the new property line I was talking to him about.
Yes.
But then is that within the setback? Or is that, what is that?
It's a basketball court. There's no setback requirement for that.
Okay.
And there's you're going to keep that gravel drive and the concrete drive?
Yes, that will all go with number 8 as is currently functioning to serve number 8.
And are you building, is that a new dwelling that's going to be?
Absolutely
on
not.
ours?
There is
No.
absolutely no building being proposed with this
There
project.
is a dwelling there now.
Everything you see is
My
there.
mother's house, and there's 7 of us.
You got to use the microphone. Ollie, you got to use the microphone, just so they can,
All right, talk really loud.
yeah.
And that septic system, that's been there. It seems really close to the road, but
And no problem from conservation?
This is a scale of 1 inch equals 40 feet. That septic system is probably about 30 feet off of the lot line.
Yeah.
I thought they mentioned.
This is a huge property. This doesn't
It's
look
a
at
very
this
large property, yes.
scale. You got frontage? Now that you told me the scale, I'm guessing you have a crap load of frontage?
Yes.
Now, I have to ask you, because I can't say it, what are you using as your variance criteria?
Topography, the wetland.
What's the hardship?
I would do
That,
the
it
different-
encompasses the vast majority of the property, and there is no other way for them to maintain use of what they currently own.
think you should use soils.
Soils would be a good, better technical term compared to wetland, yes, thank you.
But topography is one of them, and soils is another.
Then it would be both, because the topography has allowed the soils to create
Yeah,
the
I know.
vast wetland that we
We
see
just
here.
have to write one on the slip, that's the problem.
What zoning district is this
I
in?
believe I included both of those on the application.
It's on the R40.
And they let you build two houses on this one?
They're already
Oh,
built.
they're,
Yeah, the houses are.
They're already there.
oh, so this is a pre-existing non-conforming structure, huh?
No,
Conforming.
every,
Actually,
just
they're
changing
on
the
the
plot
same
lines.
lot.
the only thing that would be not conforming is the garage, because that sits on the current lot line, so that is technically on both properties, but we will be resolving that issue.
But you're
with this.
fixing, basically by doing this, you're fixing all of them.
Correct,
You're taking problems and cleaning it up.
correct.
Yeah, I will push along the board. Marcia, if you want to go first, or Ed, I don't care.
I know, I wrote some things down, I gotta find it.
Because knowing that the scale of this right now, what would give you? Oh, it doesn't really matter. Never mind. Doesn't matter because this is what you're applying for. I was more curious by right if you gave what 1,000 more square feet of upland, you'd have it both by right, almost.
Well, so on the left-hand side, the wetland actually pokes right into the layout.
Yeah.
So we cannot actually get any more upland on that
Okay.
side.
Okay. So I had it reversed.
That's what
in my
has
head.
forced us to draw the lines as we have.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like 3 feet into the layout, otherwise we could have done that.
All right. Well, Marcia, I'll come back to you. Bob.
Sounds pretty cut and dry to me.
Yeah, it's pretty clean. Doug.
I have nothing.
Lane.
I don't have any questions right now.
Yeah, I can't find anything. Go ahead, Marcia.
One of the variance criteria is that, I get the impression that your development potential is really limited by the substantial wetlands, upland.
There's never gonna be any development.
Yeah,
No.
there really is no development
It's
potential
just
at all.
these two houses that you've managed to,
And we still have the two houses, it's just we're changing the lot line.
you're just trying
So
to,
we can sell my mother's house.
okay.
That's all.
Now, is this situation that exists on the current one large lot, is that consistent throughout the entire area?
I own additional lots beyond this. I have like 20 acres all the way around.
And are they all
Yeah,
really covered
So,
with upland wetlands?
pretty much wetlands, some upland, but mainly wetlands.
Are you familiar with the, is it a power station or antenna?
Yeah,
Right off Route 3?
it's that power station right by the bridge by Cretton's farm.
The back way to like Cretton's farm or
Yeah.
the Duxbury.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, okay, so Cretton's
Okay.
farm is literally right here.
Okay,
The DiMacedos own all the way down to that
The
station
blue
on the other
post.
street.
We own my main Park Street's in the highway.
all right. And so the topography is pretty consistent throughout
the
that?
same, yeah.
All the same? And all these upland wetlands?
That was the old landing road layout prior to creating the new one.
Okay.
So we used to park there to jump off the highway bridge.
Yep, exactly. As I was gonna say, it's the park on the other side.
And I take it that your other lands they're currently undeveloped?
Yeah, they're all undeveloped, you know, we've been buying them over the years.
Mhm.
My daughter has one, my son
Okay.
has one. It's really protection, there's nothing can ever be done there
Right, because of the wetlands.
because of the wetlands, yeah. So it's only because when my mother passed, there's 6 or 7 of us actually. So the family got together and decided that it was time to sell it, and that's what happened. So-
Well, thank you. I don't have any more questions.
Maybe Miss Larson can buy it. She'll have parking.
Yeah, she's gonna right away. She could. As long as it's deeded. Yeah, it's very clean cut. Whoever did this did a good job.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So I don't have much. Anyone want to make a anyone
I'm
want
not going to St. Croix.
anyone want to close the hearing?
Well, if you sell your mother's house, you may be able to.
Anyone want to close the hearing?
Yeah, I make a motion to accept.
No. Anyone want to close the hearing?
I'll make a motion to close it.
All right,
Can I get a
sorry.
second?
Wait, did we,
I second the motion to close the hearing.
Oh, she's right.
I mean, don't we have to vote? I mean, didn't you say you have a motion on their thing? What are we doing?
No, the only thing you actually just made me think of is, before we do a second, anyone from the public want to speak for or against, or anybody on Zoom?
Is that from like James Bond, M?
Em, are you for or against? Are you part of this? Are you just watching? It's fine, I just have to make sure. All right, very good. Now to continue with closing the hearing, with Doug closing the hearing, and do you want to second?
Oh, I second that.
No, Bob, sorry.
Yeah, second it.
Can I make a motion to close the hearing?
I make a motion to close.
No, I mean, can we make, all agree, yay, yay.
Yes.
Thank you, I'm
Yes.
losing my mind. All right. Now, does someone want to make a motion to grant the variance?
I will make a motion to grant the variance.
I will second.
Plans in front of us.
What do you want to use, topography or soils? Because I have to put it in the decision.
We'll go with soils.
Very good. So we'll grant it with the variance of the hardship being soils. Who seconded it?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No, we know the whole gambit. It has to be written up, signed. Supposed to vote on it again, but we don't have to anymore. Then once we get it down to the down to the clerk, it gets stamped, and then your appeal period starts. It's just 21 days. 21 days. 21 days. And then from there, you don't even need a building permit or nothing. You just go down. So you
Just
just,
get the lawyer to write the deed up.
yeah.
Just get a,
And then,
you probably have to go down and register it to the,
yeah, she's probably right. Probably have to get a Mylar too.
go down to Plymouth Register of Deeds. Well, you probably know that anyways.
Yeah, yeah. If you have a lawyer, they'll do it all for you. That being said, last up is, what was the third one on the agenda? I lost my agenda. Take it easy.
They continue.
What'd they say? Did they wanted to continue?
They're gonna go on 11/20.
They don't get to pick their continuations. All right, so next time anyone calls and says, I want to continue to this date, they don't get to pick, they can come here in front of us and say, I want to continue this date. They don't get to move us. We move with them. So that goes with anybody. It moves that way. So moving forward, because they don't know if the board's going to be here or not. They don't know, vacations. They don't know any of that. We try to have a full board. We have what do we have, 6 now?
Is it only that and the new, and this other
Well-
one just got continued?
Grandview and Cushman Farms are the only ones we have.
Now, my other question is Cushman coming in with any new information?
I'll reach out to,
Because I have no reason to push them out 2 weeks if they're not coming with anything new that changes the needle. Because to us, it's just they're going to come, someone has to come here potentially to push them out again.
Or they can't have to sign their waivers, don't they? Are they doing
Oh,
that?
yes.
Are they?
Ask them if she's correct.
Well, we have to decide tonight what we're doing.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Do we continue them for 2 weeks and put them on that? Because we're going to need waivers for them for sure. They must be coming up
Oh,
on their,
yeah.
they must be coming up on their deadlines.
I'm wondering if they're past their deadlines. I wonder if they should have showed up.
No, this is part of their game.
I don't, I've tried to figure out what the hell's going on with that. I have nothing but some plans.
You know what? All right, we'll continue it 2 weeks, but make sure, send them an email tomorrow. Jason was our person who kept up with this. We don't have this board that I've been asking for to put out in the townhouse that shows us where everything stands. So that we know, because we might be at the 120 days or whatever the days are. They kind of have to get a waiver from them to continue this along. Reach out with an email, because they're to their lawyer, to their attorney. They might have to get a extension. I'm worried because having Jason out of the loop, we're missing some pieces. Yeah, we'll continue it to,
11/20.
yeah. And then ask for an email from them saying that they're willing to sign. That, anyone want a motion to adjourn?
Do we have any meetings to approve? Minutes?
No, minutes?
So I have a new format that I went to the zoning board in Plymouth, to get a different format, so I have them all done. I'm just in the process of putting them all into a new format, so it's a little more clear. It has action, outline,
Cool.
different sections
Okay.
on it.
So
That
no.
would be great.
Make a motion to close tonight's hearing.
Adjourn.
Adjourn. Thank you.
Can I get a second?
Time with that.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you. Good night.